What's up, guys? I'm here live to break down UFC 228 this Saturday. We got Tyron Woodley versus Darren Till. And yeah, it's a pretty good card, man. A lot of people are complaining about that it shouldn't be a pay-per-view card, because there's a couple girl fights in the main card. But I think overall it's a pretty good card. And there's a lot of good fights. There's like 14 fights, I believe. And yeah, man, before we talk about the card, let's talk about the last card. So we had James Vick versus Justin Gaethje. And yeah, I bet on James Vick and he got knocked out in the first round pretty early. Congrats everybody out there that picked and bet Justin Gaethje. That fight just showed that, Vick he's chinny, man. I didn't think he was because, he's only been knocked out once, only been dropping a couple fights. But yeah, man, he definitely is a little chinny. He's definitely more than a little chinny. He's chinny, and he needs to go to 170, I think. I mean, I don't think 155 is good for him. He's too big. Maybe it's a weight cut issue, but overall, it showed that Justin Gage is, a top five guy, and he's a good fighter, man. I just didn't think that he was going to be able to win because of all the damage, but he actually went out there and smoked Vic. So congrats, and yeah, I went 1-3, I believe, in my plays. My only cash was JoJo, and then I also lost on Thiwi. I think Thiwi got robbed, but it was a close fight regardless. I also lost on Marcus Perez. That was a close fight, I believe, too, but I do think Sanchez won the fight. And what else? I think I have one more play. Let's see. Yeah, so I just believe those are the four plays I played. But yeah, I had a terrible night, man. No excuses betting wise. I had minus over 10 units, and definitely one of my worst nights, man. But I'm ready to talk about the next card and get back on track. I got 5 plays, by the way. So yeah, man, let's get started. So first fight of the night, we got a very good fight. This is a barn burner for sure. Early fight of the night candidate. We got Jeff Neal versus Frank Camacho, and it's a good fight. Jeff Neal, in my opinion, is the bigger guy for sure. I think he's a better striker. I think he's more technical. He's definitely the faster guy. Fred Camacho is one of those, he's your fan favorite guy. I think he should fight at 155. He's definitely really small for 170. He's definitely lazy. He needs to fight at 155. He fought, the Leech in his debut. He won that first round. He hurt him a couple times, but then he gassed. Man, he's very, does not have a good gas tank. Gasses every fight. He had a pretty close fight. Damian Brown. Do think he won the fight. Gas in that fight. Pretty close fight with Dover. I do think Dover edged it out, but it was pretty close. Just like in that fight, man. I mean, Camacho he takes too much punishment. He gasses, man. He gassed in that second. He gassed after the first round in that fight against Dover. And with Camacho, he does throw heat. He does have, a good style for fans, obviously. I mean, he has pretty good bombs. He has good wrestling, but I just think that he's too much punishment. He's been knocked out 3 times. Obviously, all 3 of those fights were outside the UFC. I think one was a doctor stoppage and 2 were by TKO. And Jeff Neal's been finished as well, but that was at 185 against Kevin Holland. He might have been finished one more time, not sure. But Kevin Holland's a pretty big middleweight, and that was a middleweight, dude. Jeff Neal was winning that fight, too, but then you got, Kevin Holland just broke him in that third round. He has a good gas tank, and he made Jeff Neal get out of there, man. Made him quit. But I mean, that's a 185. At 170, Jeff Neal is a pretty big guy, and I think he's a huge size advantage here. And like I already mentioned, I just think he's the more technical guy, more technical fighter on the feet, better boxing, better hands, faster. And the wrestling, Camacho is pretty good wrestling, but I think Jeff Neal is good wrestling too. And this fight will be pretty interesting if it gets in the third, the later rounds because Camacho has, a bad gas tank, but he has heart for sure. And Jeff Neal's only been out of the first round, I think, once, and that was in the Kevin Holland fight. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I think what's going to happen is, they're going to be slugging it out, and I think Neal's going to get the better of him. And I think Jeff Neal's going to finish him in the the first or second round. So I got Jeff Neal, man. I think he's going to knock Frank Camacho out. And Camacho might, get his walking papers after this, or maybe one more fight at 155. But I just think Neal's the better fighter. So overall, I got Jeff Neal by a second round knockout. So next fight, we got Jared Brooks versus Roberto Sanchez. It was supposed to be Jared Brooks versus, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be Roberto Sanchez versus Ryan Benoit. And that was a very close fight. I was going back and forth with that fight, but I did have Ryan Benoit by knockout. But now it's, a completely different matchup. This is a huge step up for Roberto Sanchez. Jared Brooks is a way better fighter than Ryan Benoit. A lot of people are saying that Brooks sucks because of what happened in the last fight. He's winning the fight against Shory Torres and knocked himself out. But I think it's a terrible matchup for Roberto. Jared Brooks is the better wrestler, the better grappler. Sanchez does have pretty good jiu-jitsu, but I think Brooks has good hands as well. I think Brooks is going to hurt him on the feet, and I think it's all she wrote. I think Brooks either get a knockout here or just get a TKO on the ground or even a sub. I just think Brooks is better, man, wherever the fight goes, in my opinion. So even though short notice doesn't bother me. I'm not going to be playing it though, betting wise. There's no why not yet. But Jared Brooks is definitely one of the the top 10 guy in the division. I mean, the dude beat Davison Figueroa. That was a robbery. So I just don't think Roberto Sanchez is that good. I know he has pretty good jiu-jitsu, but I mean, this is a bad matchup for him. So I got Jared Brooks all day here. So next fight we got Irene Aldana versus Lucy Moldova, and I do have my first play here. I got Lucy at minus 130 for 3 units, and I just think she's the better fighter. I think she's the better striker. I think she has a very good jab. She's more technical. I think both these girls like to get in wars, but one thing about Lucy is she's going to be pressuring her the whole fight, and Aldana doesn't do good backing up. Aldana has a chin issue as well. She's been knocked out twice, and she got dropped in the Leslie Smith fight in the first round. And Leslie Smith beat her ass. I think she won one round, but Leslie Smith beat her ass in that first round and the third round. And the second fight against Chukagian, who's a point fighter, she lost a decision, but Chukagian doesn't have any power in her hands. And then the last fight against Tuita Bernardo, Tuita's probably the worst fighter in the bantamweight division. And I don't think Tuita's good at all, man. And Tuita obviously lost the first 2 rounds. She did take her down a couple of times, but in the third round, Tuita was definitely getting the best for her on the feet, man. And Aldana just, one of your typical Mexican fighters, trains with what's her name? The chick that just got subbed by Suarez. I can't think of her right now, but anyways, she's a brawler. She has to get in these wars, and I don't think it's a good, idea for her to brawl with Lucy. I think Lucy's, like I mentioned, the queen of striker, more technical, more tools in the feet. If it hits the mat, it'll get interesting because I don't think it's gonna hit the mat. I think it's gonna, be a striking contest, but I do think Lucy can get back up and hit the mat. I mean, this isn't Sarah Cheesesteak Moraes, and I know she took down Lucy a couple times, had a pretty, slick armbar on Lucy, but Lucy got out of it, and that's what Cheesesteak's all about, her jiu-jitsu. I don't think Aldana has the kind of wrestling jiu-jitsu to get Lucy down. I think Lucy could even get on top as well. And just like the Weena Landsberg fight, that was a disgusting decision. I think I know they fought a long time ago. The first fight, obviously, Lucy lost, but that was a long time ago. Lucy's definitely looked a lot better. And in the rematch in the UFC, Lucy's debut, I think Lucy definitely won that fight. And it looked like Landsberg wanted no par on the feet. Landsberg was trying to take her down in the clinch the whole time. She couldn't. I think she got her down once, and Lucy got right back up. Lucy hurt her with elbows in the third round. Lucy was, you look at her face after the fight. Her face was messed up, man. I don't know how Lucy lost that fight. But, yeah, man, I really think Lucy, honestly, like a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me because a lot of people think that most girl fights definitely go to decision, but I think Lucy might put her out, man. I think Lucy because Aldana takes too much damage, man, and she likes getting in wars, and that's not good against Lucy. So she's gonna be pressuring her and backing up the fence and hitting her with some big shots, man. So I got Lucy, man, by a third round finish, and I think she's gonna get a TKO. And I'm pretty impressed with her, man. She's a good fighter. I do think she could be Aspen Ladd. I know they're gonna go back and forth. Obviously, Aspen has good grappling, but I think she's terrible on the feet. And I think Lucy could be a top 10 fighter, man, in the division. Man. I think she's really good. She looks like, I know she's not Polish, but she has like kind of like, a young JJ, man, instinct. Very good striking, man. Good hands. So, yeah, man, I got Lucy to get the upset. Yeah, I can't believe she was the dog. She's plus money now. I hope I missed out on that. I got her at minus 105. But, yeah, I got Lucy here. So, next fight, we got Jim Miller versus Alex White. This is another play. I got Alex White. I believe it. You know what? Real quick, I think I said I got Lucy at minus 130. I apologize. I got her at minus 105. I got Alex White at minus 133 units. And speaking of this matchup, Jim Miller's on a 4-fight losing streak. I know he looked pretty decent against Dustin Poirier, but that was a very long time ago. His last 2 fights, he's taken 2 beatings, and that knockout against Stan Hooker, and then Chinaldo just beat his ass, man, for 3 rounds. Alex White, he does have, questionable takedown defense. I know James Krause took him down about 3 times. James Krause is a very big guy. He's a welterweight. And look at this James Krause just did, man, against Warrior Alves. And James Krause wanted nothing, I'll tell you that, to do on the feet with Alex White. Alex White was getting the better. And Alex White was beating his ass on the feet. He hurt him multiple times. And I know Alex White has a couple questionable losses at, featherweight against guys that aren't that good, but that's a featherweight. I think he's, definitely a lightweight. He's a huge lightweight. He's 1-2 a lightweight. I mean, his first fight at lightweight against Tony Martin, he dropped Tony Martin, he hurt him on the feet, but Tony Martin beat him with grappling. Then he fought Mitch Clark, beat his ass and got a finish. Then James Krause, beat him with grappling. But I don't think Jim Miller has that kind of, I mean, he does have good grappling, Jim Miller, but the guy's on a 4-fight losing streak. He's on his way out. I think he's pretty much done, in my opinion. If Jim Miller gets him down, I think Alex White's going to get right back up. And I don't think he wants any part of the feet. I think, once Alex White, hits him with a big shot, I think it's Jim Miller's gonna get hurt, man, and look for the door. This isn't the same Jim Miller, man. I mean, he's a 4-fight loser streak. This is the same guy that fought Poirier, and yeah, he lost, the fight against Poirier. He had a couple of good, he maybe won a round. It was a pretty. It was. I'm not gonna say it was a super win. It was a robbery. I mean, Dustin Poirier definitely won that fight, but he did look pretty good in that fight. But this isn't the same Jim Miller. This guy's on a 4-fight losing streak. He doesn't have him anymore. He still has good grappling, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to tap out or outsfight. He has good grappling defense as well. I mean, he even reversed James Krause, but I mean, my only question is, can I grind him out? But I don't think so. This isn't Tony Martin. This isn't, James Krause. These guys in their primes, and Jim Miller's on the way out. And I think once he hits, once he gets a big shot, man, from Alex White, I think it's all sure. Alex White is very good striking for 155. He definitely needs to work on, his all-around game, but this is a different matchup, and it's all about the spot. Alex White is very good jab, good right hand, good power, good pressure, and he needs to get in his face. He needs to not let Jim Miller back him up. He needs to get in his face and hurt him out of the gate. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Alex White's going to finish Jim Miller in the first round, and I think Jim Miller's going to be retiring in that fight because there's no way he's going to get it. I mean, if he doesn't retire, I don't know if they're going to keep him. It's a 5-fight losing streak, so I got Alex White by a first round knockout. Next fight. This is the toughest fight for me to call on the entire card. We got Diego Sanchez versus Craig White, and welterweight too. One thing I got to mention, I know Craig White has terrible striking for sure. He did look decent. I mean, I'm not say decent, but he looked better than he has in the past against Maggie, got smoked. But I mean, he threw some bombs. Diego Sanchez has the worst chin. I mean, the guy just needs to retire. He has no chin. I mean, obviously he's been knocked out against pretty decent guys like Matt Brown, but Quinta, but I just don't think that chin is there anymore. And I know Craig White definitely does not have good striking at all. I mean, Craig White's a guy that he likes to fight off his back. He has good jiu-jitsu. Diego Sanchez has pretty good jiu-jitsu as well. That's why it's a pretty interesting fight. People are bringing up all the whole Marcin Held fight. Marcin Held's not the best striker, but I just think Sanchez is at the point where he's 100% done, in my opinion. And Craig White's not a good fighter. He's definitely not UFC material. But even though Craig White doesn't have good striking, I think he's still going to connect in that chin. I mean, I think even a jab. I mean, if Craig White goes out there and just throws a bomb, I really think he's going to knock him out. I mean, Sanchez has pretty decent striking, but it's the chin. That's what worries me. I mean, if Sanchez goes out there and tries to take him down, then, it'd be a smart game plan. But, I mean, Craig White's still pretty good off his back. There's no way Craig White's going to tap out Diego Sanchez. Obviously, Sanchez has the better grappling, but I think what's going to happen is Craig White's going to connect on that chin. And, Craig White doesn't have the best striking. It's not good, in my opinion, but it's something I'm not confident in, but I'm just not confident in that chin. I'm more confident in Craig White's striking than I am in Diego Sanchez's chin. So I'm going to have to go with Craig White with a first-round knockout. And, yeah, I just don't think that chin's good anymore. I think he needs to retire. I don't think Craig White's UFC material at all. I mean, what are they going to give him next fight if he gets to Mickey Gall? I mean, Mickey Gall would destroy this guy. So, yeah, I got Craig White, and I'm not confident. I've been going back and forth because obviously Sanchez, if he fights smart, he kind of out-grapple him, kind of grind him out. But just that chin that worries me so much, man. I really even think Craig White's strength can hurt him. So I got Craig White for the upset, or not for the upset. He was his favorite. So yeah, Craig White. Next fight, we got Charles Byrd versus Darren Stewart. It's another very close fight. I don't think Darren Stewart's that good, and I know he looked, pretty good against Eric Spicy, but Spicy got retired, or not retired, but he obviously got cut. Charles Byrd's not the best fighter either. He's been tapped out a couple times. He has pretty good wrestling. Darren Stewart's kryptonite is, getting obviously, losing the grappling exchanges and then, tapped out against Roberson, tapped out against Jordan Marquez. Doesn't have the best gas tank. He's fought 205, now he's fought 185. He's definitely the better striker here. Charles Byrd, training at a good camp. Force MMA, they're definitely, one of the best camps out there right now. I believe Allison's on there too, and Jeff Neal too. But yeah, this is definitely a striker versus grappler match. So Charles Byrd's not the best on the feet. He's definitely going to try to take this fight from that. And I do think he has better grappling. Darren Stewart just, doesn't have the best takedown defense. He does have wrestling himself, but I think if he even tries to, grapple Charles Byrd, all she wrote. Charles Byrd's definitely the better grappler. But, if he doesn't get Darren Stewart down, it's going to get pretty interesting because Stewart does have the better striking. It's more power. Charles Byrd's striking is not that good, but he's a pretty smart fighter, man. Once he gets on top, he's very good. And he's super good, man, on top. So it's close fight, but I'm gonna have to go with Byrd. I think Byrd's gonna go out there and get a submission here, and Darren Stewart could possibly get cut. Maybe feed him to Tim Williams next, something like that. So next fight we got Jimmy Rivera versus John Dodson. And this is another close fight. I've been going back and forth. I like Jimmy Rivera a lot. It hurt me last fight against Moraes, I bet Jimmy, and he got smoked in that fight. I mean, he's taking this fight pretty, like, what, 3 or 4 months layoff or something like that. I think he should have took like a year off. And John Dodson, man, has heavy hands, man. I mean, he hurts guys, man, every fight. He doesn't have the best volume, but he's so fast out there. I know Jimmy's fast too, but I think what's going to happen is that he's going to drop Jimmy about a couple times, and Jimmy might, maybe outstrike him. It's going to be a split decision all over it. I don't think Jimmy's going to get those takedowns. I mean, every fight Jimmy, wins fights with his takedowns. That's how he beat Thomas Almeida, but he's not going to get takedowns on John Dodson. John Dodson has, very good takedown defense, good game. And I think it can be a back and forth fight, but I'm gonna have to go with John Dodson by split. I think those knockdown. I think he's gonna drop Jimmy about a couple times. And I know that Munoz definitely landed some good shots in Dawson last fight, but Dawson has a very good chin. I mean, his chin is legit, granted chin, and you could say Jimmy has a good chin as well. But I mean, he has a good chin, but he just got knocked down, man, 4 months ago. So I think he should take a year off, in my opinion. And I think coming back too soon against one of the heaviest hitters at 135 is not too smart, because Dawson can crack, man. Dawson has very good footwork, and he doesn't get hit that much either. When he does, he takes it right in the chin. And just one big read, like I mentioned, I don't think Jimmy's gonna get those takedowns. That's how he wins a lot of his fights. Gets those close, those short, those takedowns late in the rounds. He's not gonna get that against John Dodson. So I got John Dodson. I think he's the faster guy. I think he has more power, the better chin, and I think he's gonna move in and out. Man, I think he's gonna hurt him. I don't think he's gonna knock out Rivera. If he does, that would be pretty legit. But I just think he's gonna hurt him and drop him a couple times and win the fight. So I think it could be pretty close, volume wise. But I think what's gonna win him the fight is those knockdowns. And Jimmy's not getting those takedowns here. So I got John Dodson, but with the upset. I'm not playing it though, but maybe for DraftKings. Next fight I am playing, we got Aljo Sterling versus Cody Stamann. And I got the dog at plus 115 and Cody Stamann. I bet Cody all 3 fights in UFC. His debut against Tyrion Ware, and then he took him down at will. And Tyrion Ware is a pretty decent striker, man. Aljo, is not the best striker. He has, volume, but he has no power in his hands. His striking looked better, against John. Striking looked better definitely recently, but I don't think his striking is that good. So yeah, more about Stamann. So second fight against Duquesnoy. I mean, he beat Fire Kid on the feet. And I know Fire Kid, isn't, going to be a top 15 fighter anytime soon, but I mean, he beat him on the feet. Obviously, he beat him with the wrestling, but I mean, beating the guy like that on the feet was pretty impressive. Last night against Caraway, I mean, it was a close fight, but he definitely won those last 2 rounds. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was a robbery by all. I have a bet on Cody, obviously, but so maybe I'm biased, but I don't think Caraway won that fight. Cody definitely hurt him on the feet. Cody was getting the better striking. I know he got taken down once, but yeah, man. And Cody's beaten the better competition too. He's beaten Caraway. Aljo's, lost to Caraway. Aljo's best win, in my opinion, is probably Brett Johns, man. I mean, Augusto Mendoza isn't that good. He beat Barao, but Barao sucks. He's the ghost of Barao. He lost decisions. He lost decisions to Caraway, lost to Sumtao, and I don't know how it's a split. I think Sumtao definitely won that fight. Should have been the split, and Moraes, knocked him out pretty fast. I mean, that was a pretty brutal knee. On the feet, I believe Cody Stamann is the way better striker. I think he's has better movement. He's going to be pressuring Aljo the whole fight. Aljo likes to kind of backpedal and run away. He has his movement. I've never been really impressed with Aljo, man. I don't think he's I'm not gonna say he's bad. He is a good fighter, but I don't think he's in that. He's ever gonna be like a top 5 guy. I think Cody Stamann is definitely gonna be a top 5 guy. I mean, he has top 5 guy. He has good wrestling, good striking, and I think this fight's gonna contest on the feet. And I think Cody has a better striking. He needs to go out there and pressure Aljo, back him up, and hurt him on the feet. I think he can actually hurt him on the feet, but Cody has a nasty jab, man. Good footwork. Trained with Cruikshank, and obviously Cruikshank has one of the best striking games out there, even though he's not in the UFC anymore. And with the wrestling too, I mean, I think Cody has a better wrestling. Aljo might have the better jiu-jitsu. I don't think Aljo can take him down. I think Cody could take him down. But I really think this fight's going to play like the Caraway fight. I think Cody's just going to outstrike him in 3 rounds. And, I don't think he's going to finish Aljo, but I think he's going to win a 29-20 decision. So I got Cody, and I really do think this guy is, the future, man. I'm not going to say he's a future champ as of right now, but he's top 5 guy. I think he could be John Lineker right now. I mean, Dominic Cruz be a good fight. I mean, you know what? Screw it. I do think the guy's a future champ. I mean, TJ Dillashaw is so good, man. He's in Magic. They're so good. I don't know if Cody's gonna have the belt, or next year, but I do think the guy has potential to be a big contender in the division. And the guy's very good. He's a winner. He's lost 1 fight, and it was a split, and it was a robbery, in my opinion, too. So the guy knows how to win those fights. He knows how to win close fights. Aljo has a good record as well, but I mean, Aljo's is something with him is like mental, man. I mean, he breaks some fights. Caraway broken. He got knocked off obviously against Magic. Who was Aljo's other loss? I know I'm missing it. So I know he's lost one more time. Let's see. Has he lost one more time? I'm missing it, right? Oh, Sansa, okay. But yeah, I do think Sansa won that fight. But anyways, yeah, I just think Cody's a better fighter. I think he's a better striker. I think he's better everywhere. To be honest, I do believe Aljo has, the better jiu-jitsu. But I don't think it's going to take it there. I don't think he's going to tap out Cody Stamann. I think Cody Stamann can grind him out on the bottom. But I think it's going to happen. What's going to happen is he's going to outstrike him in the feet and get a 29-28 decision. So I got Cody Stamann. Next fight, we got Cara Esparza versus Tatiana Suarez. It's a good fight. I do think the line's off. I do think Esparza is better on the feet. Esparza has very good grappling. But my thing here is that Suarez is, the bigger girl. She has the size advantage. And I think Suarez is going to go out there and, just manhandle her. I mean, Esparza is a good fighter, man. I mean, she has good grappling. She's better on the feet for sure. I mean, she beat Claudia Gadelha last fight. That was a robbery. I don't know how he scored that fight with Claudia. Claudia just broke him that fight after that first round. And I just think Suarez is so much bigger than Cara Esparza. If Cara, doesn't get taken down, she's going to win. I think she'll outstrike her on the feet. Not going to knock out, obviously, Tatiana Suarez, but I just think Suarez is the better grappler. She's too big for her, and I think she's going to go out there. And, she won't. I don't think she's going to finish her, but I think she's going to out-grapple her for 3 and win a. I'll say 29-28. I think she might lose a round due to the striking, because her striking definitely needs work. But I mean, look at Khabib. Khabib's striking is not good either, but. I mean, the guy just so dominant, man. I mean, Suarez is definitely like the Khabib of the division, and I think she needs a big step up next. I mean, I know Suarez is good, but I think she needs to fight I mean, what you're gonna give her Claudia next? I don't know. I think she would smoke Claudia. I think you need to give her JJ maybe. I mean, maybe even Andrade. I don't know, man. I mean, I think she would be KK. Should be Tisha, but I think JJ and Andrade would be 2 really good fights. So. Official prediction is Suarez by a dominant decision. Like a decision, I think, like I just mentioned, I think she might lose a round, but I think it's going to get a pretty quick cut decision for top down Suarez. So, next fight, this is the #1 fight that I'm looking forward to break down. We got Abdul Razak Allison versus Nico Price is opening the main card, and I do have a play on my boy Nico Price, plus 145, which is a joke, and 3 units of my play, put 1 more unit on there. But yeah, man, let's talk about how Songs. I do think the guy's a good fighter. Obviously he's not a jobber by any means. I mean, the guy has super heavy hands. His debut against Charlie Ward, he went out there and knocked him out. Charlie Ward. We don't have to talk about him. He's terrible. Then after that, Omari. I don't know how he scored that a split. That was definitely not a split. That was unanimous for Omari, and Omari won the first 2 rounds. The 3rd round was pretty close. I mean, I guess you could score for Aljo because he was definitely getting the better exchange on the feet. Because Omari, broke in the 3rd round like he always does. He does not have good gas tank, in my opinion. But Omari took him down twice as well in the 3rd round. But I mean, I scored it for 29-20 Omari, but a split for Allison was, I don't know how. I mean, he got taken down 6 times. He got taken down in the first all 3 rounds. The 2nd round he got taken down, and Omari, kind of just wait on him for a minute and a half. Razak could not get up. Then after that, he knocked out Sabah in the first fight, but it was kind of controversial. Sabah took him down, I think, in both fights, but he got right back up. Razak, honestly. And dude, in the first fight, Sabah, I mean, could have been winning that fight, honestly, before that controversial. Sabah did not get knocked out. Sabah he fell, and then that was a weird controversial fight. That's why they gave him the 2nd fight. But Sabah was hurting him on the feet, man, and which is kind of crazy because Sabah is not UFC material at all. Then the 2nd fight, he went out there and he smoked Sabah in that fight. I mean, he's pretty wild, Allison, but he does have heavy hands and has a good uppercut. I mean, he comes forward. But like I mentioned, he's wild, man. And he did knock out Sabah, but who's he beating? I mean, he's beating Sabah and Charlie Ward. He's beating guys that are terrible. And Nico Price is, a very good fighter, in my opinion. I think the guy is going to be a top 15 guy pretty soon. And with Nico Price, the one thing I like to mention about him is that no matter how ugly it looks at times, I mean, he finds a way to finish the fight. The guy is a finisher. I mean, he's finished most of his wins. I mean, in the UFC, he's finished all of his wins. I think he's only been the 1 decision outside of the UFC. And he definitely has a grappling advantage here. He has good wrestling. I mean, if he fights smart, he's going to take him down and, just control him on the ground. And look what happened last fight. I mean, in my opinion, he was winning. He won the first round against Randy Brown. People are saying Randy Brown dropped him and all that. Randy Brown, I mean, you could say maybe he hurt him. He kind of maybe he hurt him a little bit, but he was never, I don't think he didn't get dropped, obviously. I mean, he hurt him with the knee, but I mean, Nico Price ate it and just, The round ended, and then second round, Nico Price went for a takedown. Then Randy Brown, took him down, and then Nico Price went for a leg lock, and then that huge. I mean, that was a pretty damn good scramble, and then he knocked him out with his hammer fist. I mean, you're not going to see that every day, but like I mentioned, no matter how ugly it looks, he's going to find a way to finish the fight. And I think he has a big grappling advantage here, like I just mentioned. And he's super heavy on top. I think he can get a sub on the bottom. I think he can hurt him with TKO. But on the feet, this is where it gets really interesting because I think Allison's the faster guy. I think it's close on the feet. I have to give him the striking advantage for sure, but it's not like he blows Nico out on the water on the feet. Nico has a very good jab. Nico has a good right hand, and Nico has a good counter game. That's what he is. He's a counter striker. He likes to draw you into his game. He likes to draw you in. He likes when you come forward, and that's when he hits you with his jab. That's when he hits you with his right hand. And I'm not Nico, but Allison better watch out because Amari was countering him all day in that fight, and Nico has very good striking. I really can see Razak coming forward wildly and getting hit with one of those counters and getting dropped, and Nico's in a wind up on top and need to tap him out and hurt him on the feet. I can see Nico getting hurt in the feet for sure, but he has a very good chin. Both these guys have good chins, but Nico's never been finished. The only guy who's been finished was a tap with a submission against Vicente Luque. And I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me on this, but Vicente Luque is a top 10 guy in my opinion. And yeah, he beat Nico Price. He tapped him out in the second round, but I mean, Nico Price was jabbing him up that entire fight. I mean, you could see Luque's face in that fight. It was pretty busted up. Obviously, he won the fight, finished the fight, but I mean, Price didn't look bad in that fight. And for Nico Price, we can talk about his whole career. His first fight, he went out there and tapped out Braden Thatch. Second fight, he gets dropped twice, then knocks Montano out. Then he knocks out, Joe Band. So people think this guy doesn't have good striking. He has good striking. Then he goes out there and loses to Luque. He goes out there and taps out George Sullivan in the second round, which in my opinion, I mean, was not a close fight. He was definitely beating him. He won the first round for sure. And then in the second round, he got taken down. Then he got up and tapped him out. And then the last fight, obviously, was the Randy Brown fight, which he was winning the fight until he got taken down second round. Then he got that knockout. But in my opinion, sorry for the ranting, but Nico Price is just a more well-rounded fighter, man. I do think he's going to find this way to get this and that and either hurt him on the ground, TKO, or tap him out. But I won't be surprised at all if Nico Price hurts him on the feet because I can really see that happening. A lot of people are saying that Allison has, the way better striking, but it's close in my opinion, man. But what's going to happen is two scenarios. What's going to happen is Nico Price is either going to hurt him on the feet, he's going to get him on the ground, tap him out in a straight up back and forth brawl, or Nico Price is going to get him down, and immediately and just, kind of just big brother him, tap him out, or get a TKO. So I got Nico Price here, man, and I don't know how he's a dog. He definitely should be favored here, and I hope he gets, a top 15 guy next. Give him Gunnar Nelson. Give him Cowboy Oliveira. Give him Dong Young Kim. Hell, give him Neal Magny after he loses to Ponzi. So I got I got my boy Nico Price. But Razak Allison will be back. He's a good fighter. He has heavy hands. But this is too big of a step up for him right now against Nico Price. Nico Price, don't blink. The guy is just, a good fighter for sure. So a lot of people out there saying that he's not. You guys are just delusional. So next fight, we got Jessica Andrade versus KK Carolina. And, yeah, this is a good fight. I do think that Andrade, in my opinion, is better everywhere. KK, she is a good fighter. She's going to be live because, she's one of the best fighters in the division, She's definitely, a pretty technical fighter. She has good footwork. But, I mean, Andrade just has the huge grappling advantage. Andrade, I think, is better on the feet. I mean, she throws bombs, man. She has good striking. I guess you can say Carolina might be a little more technical, a little more smooth for striking, but Andrade, has knockout power. She is a very good striker in her own right, and she comes forward and she just throws haymakers, man. But I mean, she has a huge advantage on the mat. I think Andrade's gonna come forward, throw some big bombs, hurt her on the feet, take her down, tap her out. So I got Andrade, and a pretty short breakdown there. Next fight, we got Zabit versus Brandon Davis. Another short breakdown. Zabit was supposed to fight Yair. That was a pretty close fight, man. Interesting. That should have been like a pick 'em. That shouldn't have been Yair plus 400. But yeah, I got him all day in this fight. I don't know if he's gonna finish Brandon Davis because Davis is a really tough guy, man. To be honest, he's obviously I don't think Davis is gonna win the fight, but I mean he has a chance maybe. Like I mean, what is he plus? I don't think the odds of Camacho. He's probably gonna be like plus 400, but I think he's a beat's gonna go out there and do what he always does, get him in the mat. I just don't think he's gonna tap him out. I think he's gonna go out there and win a 30-27. He's definitely the better striker. He's better on the ground. Davis is a pretty decent striker in his own right, but Zabit's a top guy, top 10 guy for sure. Probably top 5 guy in the future, and he's just the all-around better fighter than Brandon Davis. So my official prediction is I got Zabit, but I mean, Brand Davis is definitely no slouch. So the co-main event, we got Nico Montano versus Shevchenko. This is going to be the shortest breakdown of the night. I got Shevchenko by 50-45 mauling. I think she's better everywhere. She's bigger than her. She's a better striker. She's way more technical, way more power on the feet, better grappling. And Nico Montano, she's not a jobber. I think that she could win fights. She's decent, but she's not in the same ballpark as Shevchenko. Shevchenko is one of the best girls in the world, and I don't see a lot of girls in that division contesting her anytime soon. So I got Shevchenko by mauling. I don't think she's going to finish Montano, but I think she's going to do a 50-45. And I don't really know, man, who's going to be like a good contender for Shevchenko. Maybe if like Suarez decides to move up, I don't know, man. But Shevchenko is definitely going to be winning a lot of those fights in that weight class. Main event, we got my last play. We got Tyron Woodley versus Darren Till, and I do have 4 units on Darren Till at plus 100. I think I said I had 3 units on Cody Stamann. Sorry about going back and price, but I actually have 4 units on Cody Stamann. I also have 4 units on Till. So I have 3 units on the other 3 bets and 4 units on Till and Stamann. Sorry, I thought I put 3 units on Stamann. Anyways, but I said that. I think Till's, a beast, man. I think he's a very good fighter. I don't think it was a robbery against Wonderboy at all. I mean, he went out there and outstruck him. He dropped him in the 5th round. That just showed that he can outstrike a guy and go 5 rounds. I mean, he has pretty good cardio. Till's a very good fighter. He's probably going to go 185 in the future, but I just think he's going to go out there and start Woodley, to be honest, in the first, 2nd round. He's not active. He hasn't fought in a year. He has like 5 or 6 takedowns in his whole UFC career. He obviously has good wrestling, but I mean, is he going to go out there and take a guy out like Darren Till down? I think if he takes him down, Till's going to get right back up, and Till's definitely the way bigger fighter. What Tony needs to do is, what Rory did, and Till's game is all about coming forward and pressuring you anyways. But I mean, Rory just, dominated him in that fight and went forward. He just backed him up, and he even took him down. Darren Till's not going to take down Tyron Woodley, but I think Tony needs to go out there and use that game plan. And I mean, that's what he's going to do. He's going to go out there and come forward. And he's a better striker than Woodley. Woodley has power. He doesn't throw that much, but I think Woodley's going to have to go out there and be desperate for the takedown. But I don't think he's going to get it. If he gets it, Darren Till's going right back up. Darren Till is a monster, bro. I mean, he's a 205er, man, fighting at 170. The guy is huge. He's looking good. I hope he makes weight. We'll say he's going to, but I just think he's a different animal, man. I think that Woodley is a good fighter. He has had the belt for about 4 fights, but it's up. I mean, Colby would have beat him as well. Colby will beat him as well. But I just think it's a different style matchup. Darren Till is a better striker, and he's too big for him. And I think he's going to come forward and back him up against the fence. And Tyron Woodley does not like being backed up against the fence. And I really think he's going to knock out. Tyron Woodley will be the 2nd guy to knock him out. And Darren Till versus Colby will be the next fight. And I don't know who's going to win that fight as of right now. That is a super close fight. Pre-tape, I'm not even going to pick anyone because I like Colby and I like Till. But I just think Till's the better striker, and he has heavy hands, and I mean he could even outstrike Woodley for 5 rounds. He outstrike Wonderboy for 5 rounds, and he won that fight. And I know Wonderboy has been dropped, and all. I mean Wonderboy's a good chin, but he does get dropped a lot. But Woodley has a good chin too, but I mean he has been knocked out. He has been hurt in fights as well. Even Josh Koscheck hurt him on the feet. But I really think that Till's going to go out there and just start him in the 1st round. So I got Darren Till by a 1st round knockout. So that's my my breakdowns of everything. My plays. I got 4 units on Darren Till at plus 100, 4 units on Cody Stamann at plus 115, 3 units on Lucy at minus 105, 3 units on Nico plus 145. Might drop 1 more unit, and 3 units on Alex White at minus 130. And my most confident picks. So I don't know. My most confident picks probably gonna have to be Darren Till, obviously Shevchenko, and what else? I think Alex White. But I mean, obviously, I'm very confident in all 5 of my plays, and I think hopefully we can go undefeated. And we'll be back next week. I think we have like a UFC every week, which is pretty cool. And man. So hope everyone does good this weekend. Very good card. Comment down below what you guys think in the main event and every other fight, and let's get it. Don't blink.